You need to know the difference between a flirtatious smile, a friendly smile, and a fuck off, don't talk to me smile. I think men don't understand those differences. Well, those
No.
types of men.
No one wants a woman in her 40s. Oh, damn.
So most men really don't want to date no woman in their 40s. And the fact is, a woman in her 40s comes with a certain level of confidence. So this confidence is going to scare a lot of men off who don't know what they want. Now, you're dealing with a woman who has some life experience. So once you get to a point when you're in your 40s for a woman, they realize time ain't forever. And once you realize time ain't forever, it's going to give you a certain level of directness. You know what I'm saying? You get into the point. And when you get into the point, you being direct, the more direct you are, the more a person who don't know what they want is going to run the other direction. So a lot of men don't really want that. Also, a woman in her 40s understands planning and organizing. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time they have kids, so they understand the importance of planning. Men who don't know what they want and running around, we're not planning nothing. You know what I'm saying? We living on a whim. You know what I mean? And that doesn't work for a woman in their 40s. They want to know what's going on, what are we doing, when are we doing it, and things like that. And that's going to scare a lot of men off. Also, they're at a point in their life where they've accepted themselves. They know who they are. They know they flaws.
I hate to be that guy, but not all women.
Yeah.
They know what their shortcomings are. They know what their strengths are, everything like that. So you can't really manipulate a woman like that who know her strengths, who has accepted her flaws and her shortcomings. So that's going to scare a lot of men off right there. Also, I say a woman in her 40s is a woman who does not want to play games. So her being direct and asking you, what are we? What are we doing? What's going on? Sometimes that can come off as intense. That's how it was for me when I was younger. I'm like, damn, why is she so in a rush for this and so running a rush for that? It's not that that's not that they're in a rush. It's that they don't got time to waste. So a lot of men will say they want women in their 40s and they want a woman like that, but they really don't. That's why a lot of those women are single. You know, that's a big reason why a lot of those women are single, because they're not really going for the games. You see what I'm saying?
He's got a lot of valid points.
Yeah.
As a woman in her 40s, I think I feel a smidge more qualified to speak on this than a man in his 30s. But although he did have a lot of excellent points, I don't think it's that women, for myself anyway, it's not that in my 40s I realize that time is finite and I don't have the time. It's I don't have the patience nor the energy. It's not about time, right? I think in their 20s, we're still trying to figure shit out. And it's probably the same for men, right? Trying to come to terms with letting go of all the shit that we had held on to in high school and all the teenage stuff. And it still cooks around in our brains a little bit in our 20s, and we're figuring out who we are and what we want and how we want to proceed through life. 30s can tend to be a bit awkward, although it's kind of a loosening of, you know, maybe you don't care so much about body image, or you're okay to leave the house without makeup, or you're not so concerned about people shit talking you because you haven't watched the latest movie or read the latest book or listened to the same bands. But then it's like something happens in your 40s where you're like, fuck this shit, and you just, it's like
your bucket of fucks.
It's totally about the bucket of fucks, right? It's like I don't have the energy to give a shit about what other people think. I don't have the patience to deal with people who don't make me happy or who don't contribute to my life. I just, by the time we're 40, we're fucking tired and our back's already hurt and we just don't want to deal with it. I think it's less about time and more just about, I know what I want and I'm not going to fuck around.
Yeah.
And maybe this time, right? I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. But I think for me, it's more about energy and patience.
Well, because I think from what I see from the women in my life is that those attitudes, it's not just about dating. It's about a lot of aspects of their life.
Friendships start to fade, right? Because it's like, yeah, we had a good run. We made some good memories. We shan't be making any more. We're going separate directions, right? It's jobs for me anyway. I mean, this is the job I'm in now is the longest I've worked at any company, because as soon as I know people who have left marriages with less thought than they leave jobs. Like I worked with somebody who hated their job every day for the 12 years that they worked there. And it's like, let's get your resume ready. Let's get you the fuck out of there. And they're like, no, because they're afraid of change, but then they like left their husband. I don't understand that thought process. But like my last job, I was working from home 2 days a week. And my boss, I got a new boss, and she was like, we're going to give you a hefty raise, but you have to be in the office every day. And I was like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
That was it. I updated my resume.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I forget where I was going. Oh yeah. So I think with the jobs, and it's a lot of other things start to let go of, right?
Mm.
Like if my husband wanted, I'm wearing a track pants and a shirt right now. If my husband was like, let's go for lunch, I'm like, just need shoes, bitch. Whereas, maybe 15 years ago, I'm like, I should probably put on some pants.
Yeah.
Do more than this to get the dog hair off my sweater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when you're comfortable with yourself, you just don't give a shit anymore.
And I think guys get stuck in this weird kind of, I don't know, this weird focus. They're so laser focused on dating and fucking things and getting women and all that stuff that they think everything is about that, and they assume that everybody else around them is also doing the same thing, but we're not.
Well, remember that tweet that we talked about a few weeks ago where this guy had said something to a woman. She was swearing or something, and he's like, "That's not very attractive." And she said, "What makes you think I'm trying to attract you?" Right? And that's it exactly. It's like I think a lot of men feel that anytime a woman is out in public, she is a
Selling the
playable
goods.
character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I just want to be left alone to buy groceries and walk my dog and do all that stuff. I don't want to have to deal with any nonsense. And a lot of men just don't get that.
Yeah, and I felt like there was one time went to a pub with some mates, and then I just got chatting to one of the bar staff there because she was reading a book, and it was a book that I'd recently read, and I really liked it. So I was just talking to her about the book and how she was finding it. And then one of my mates, and I was surprised she said this because she's a woman. I thought she would have been able to tell that I was just talking to this lass, but then she was like, "Oh, smooth moves there," or something, or like, chatting her up or something like that. And I was like, A, I've got a girlfriend, and B, I'm just talking to her. I was like, she's pregnant. I think she might be married. I didn't get to see her ring. And I was like, I like the book.
This is going back a few years, but I took my niece out for lunch, and you may or may not know this, but I'm kind of friendly.
Yeah.
I may be an introvert, but I am friendly, and I love to give people compliments. It's not like something that I like seek out to do, but if I see something, I'm not going to be shy about, like a beanie, whatever. So I took my niece out for lunch, and like our first server comes by, and like I'm chatting with the server, and I'm like, "Oh, she had great eyebrows. Love your eyebrows." The second server comes by, the like person who's taking our order, and like same thing, being chatty. And then my niece was like, "You flirt with everybody." I'm like, "I'm not flirting. I'm being friendly." Like there's a difference between flirtation and friendliness. I think it's all. I wonder if it's more about delivery or how it's received. Like maybe people aren't used to having other people be friendly to them, so they assume that they're flirting, or they are only friendly to people when they're flirting, so they assume that whenever somebody's friendly to them, they're flirting.
But I find it seems to be, I mean, super generalizing. It seems to be two groups, right? That it's like young people seem to think that it's always flirting because that's the mode their brains are in at that point in their lives. And then I also think that it's those types of men who equate everything in life to trying to get fucked and trying to fuck things. They think everything's flirting. And like, I know a lot of friendly women who just smile at people. They're just friendly and they give compliments and all that stuff. And then the blokes think that they're coming on to them and stuff. And it's like, no, you need to know the difference between a flirtatious smile, a friendly smile, and a fuck off, don't talk to me smile. I think men don't understand those differences. Well, those types of men.
That is very true. And I think flirtation doesn't always mean that there's going to be more to it. Like flirting, flirting can be fun, right? And if it's innocent and it's done innocently without other intent, then it's just a fun thing to do.
It when it's done like without dangling that carrot, the sexual carrot, and it's like, so two people can flirt and that's perfectly normal because you just both go your separate ways and then you carry on with your life.
Yeah, you both know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, because you have chemistry and then you get on well together. So that's why you flirt. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. But a lot of people I've seen a lot of people who think flirting is cheating. It's like,
no.
It's just silly.
No, that is ridiculous. No, but then on the other scale of it, there are people that think that sucking someone's dick isn't cheating.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.